Olive Garden gave me daily sales report instead of a receipt. Syrian archaeologist Khaled al-Assad, who devoted his life to the excavation and restoration of Palmyra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. He was beheaded by ICE after refusing to disclose the location of ancient artifacts, despite a month of texture. He died a hero of heritage protection. The pistol that shot and killed Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914, sparking World War I. Picture of the world leaders in an emergency meeting because of the rockets that hit Poland. The Roman Emperor Nero, colorized, known as one of Rome's most infamous rulers, he was notorious for his cruelty and debauchery. He ascended to power in AD 54, aged just 16, and died at 30. The difference in brain scans between a healthy and a brain-dead patient. Healthy patient, brain dealt, cerebral metabolism in patients in a state of brain dealt, and in healthy patients. In brain dealt, only the scene surrounding the skull continues to consume energy. This is known as the sign of the empty box. There is no more neuronal activity. Kefir, the giant Maine Coon cat, is so big, many people think that it's a dog at first. The world's most dangerous plant. Danger. The most dangerous plant. Dendrochnide Queensland stinger. One touch can induce 9 months of intense reoccurring throbbing pain. Dendrochnide deadly stinger. Queensland, Eastern Australia. A De Beers mine worker is x-rayed at the end of his shift for a diamond check. South Africa, 1954. The Jissa or Hissa are a very popular sheep breed in Uzbekistan. They are prized for their enormous rumps, and Jissa, which exhibit the largest rumps, sell for highest prices. Thomas Fuller, an African sold into slavery in 1724 at the age of 14, known as the Virginia Calculator. He was asked how many seconds there were in a year and a half. He answered in about 2 minutes, 47,304,000. BBC reporter Alex Scott wears one love armband ahead of match. $1.6 billion in gold. A family of Zalas, one of the most ancient dog breeds in the world, originally from what is now Mexico. For Native Americans, they were guardians of the night and the underworld, protectors against evil spirits, companions of wizards and witches, and guides of mortals during difficult times. MRI scans of a boy born with only 2% of his brain, and 2 years later, his brain regrew to 80% of its intended size, and he only suffers from comparably small cognitive deficits today. Patrick Stewart was initially set to wear a wig in Star Trek. Creator Gene Roddenberry was against hiring Patrick Stewart to play Picard because he didn't want a bald man. Mike Tyson vs Las Vegas Police, after he had just bitten Evander Holyfield's ear off, 1996. For those of you like me who always imagined the Mars Curiosity rover was about the size of a dog. The only remaining German A7V Sturmpanzerwagen tank in the world from World War I. Kept safe in a bubble at the Brisbane Museum in Australia. 2,000-year-old Roman face cream, found during excavations in London. Ruins of Nalanda University in 1872, in India. It was made in 5th century. It contained 9 million books, and was international university with 10,000 students and 2,000 teachers. It was burned in 1197 century by Islamic invaders. It was burning for 3 months continuously. Meet Maria and Lucy, the biracial twins who have often been mistaken for friends instead of sisters, because of their scene tones. Teotihuacan Pyramid in Mexico City in 1900, and in 2022. The 1900 view must have looked like a random mountain, until the excavations and cleanup began. An ancient olive tree in Puglia, Italy, over 1500 years old. Giant tarantulas keep tiny frogs as pets. Insects will eat the tarantula's eggs, so the spiders protect the frogs from predators, and in return the frogs eat the insects. Potatoes grown in Peru. I feel like people do not fully understand how much life changed for our species between 1900 and 2000. I still struggle to comprehend it. These events are 66 years apart. Troops arriving to Afghanistan in 2010 versus people escaping in 2021. The Japanese have been producing wood for 700 years without cutting down trees. In the 14th century, the extraordinary Daisuju technique was born in Japan. Pruning as a rule of art that allows the tree to grow and germinate while using its wood without ever cutting it down. Ice formations in Antarctica that look like ice walls, columns, and an archway. Futuristic floating city looks like a manta ray, is completely self-sufficient, and can house 7,000 people. When Volvo invented the 3-point seat belt in 1959, they made the patent free for all competitors to use in order to save lives, because it had more value as a free life-saving tool than something to profit from. Alaska to Russia equals 3 miles. Russia, Monday, 1200 hours. Alaska, Sunday, 1500 hours. Today I learned that if you successfully defend your PhD thesis in Finland, you get a sword and a special hat. Noodle delivery boy in Tokyo, 1935. Turkish garbage collectors open a library with all the books citizens discard in their trash. A snapshot of a squirrel popping a bubble, but looks as if it's bending water. Internet and phone lines in Phaya Thay, Bangkok, Thailand. Have no idea how they figure out whose isn't working. A father designs a headstone for his wheelchair-bound son, depicting him free of his earthly burdens. Days ago, Egyptian archaeologists discovered the tomb of an unknown queen, along with hundreds of other mummies. Found in backyard, a rare and endangered peregrine falcon, the fastest bird on the continent. Giant iron tree built in Russia's Ministry of Agriculture. The extraordinary life of Robert Smalls. Meet Robert Smalls. Born into slavery in 1839, steals a Confederate military ship in 1861, disguises himself as the captain, uses the secret codebook and hand signals to pass Confederate guard ships, rescues more slaves and their families, escapes to freedom, works as military advisor to the Union until war ends, buys a house, runs for Congress, wins, lives happily ever after. The Great Pyramid with a perfect shadow. The Lockheed C5 Galaxy compared to other military planes. Blue Java banana, aka the ice cream banana. Thailand supermarket touches plastic packaging for banana leaves. 10 feet croc table made by Scott Dow. The Samba bear amulet was found in 1887 in a peat bog near Slapsk, a city in northern Poland, and is believed to be from the Neolithic period, dated between 1700 and 650 BCE. But you cannot eat it. All of Tom's accidents in Tom and Jerry. Japanese convenience store chain Lawson launches flavorless candy because life is pointless and meaningless. Marlon Brando's mouthpiece for the Godfather movie. Paris in 1890 before suffering 2 world wars. Honey is the only food that will not rot. A jar of honey may remain edible for over 3,000 years. As the population was to be determined at 8 billion humans yesterday, these are the estimated percentages of people around the world. A butterfly landed on a tattoo, thinking it was a real flower. Everything in Australia kills. For your safety, no camping in this area due to dangerous trees. Thank you for your cooperation. World's smallest computer compared to a grain of rice. Devil's Bridge in Germany. Giant squid washed up in Wellington, New Zealand. 800-year-old Norwegian church. The city of Lugo in northern Spain is the only place in the world to have a complete set of intact Roman walls. They were built 2,000 years ago and surround the entire old town. Just 2 women doing acrobatic yoga at ancient temple of India. Orcas breaking through the waves off the coast of Nova Scotia. A water spout near Tampa Bay, Florida. Portrait of Rona Cox, 90, in her southwest suburban home, holds her wedding dress made from parachute silk saved after World War II. She was a corporal in the US Army Air Corps and was married in 1949. Chuck Berman, Chicago Tribune. Yankees catcher Joe Trevino at his son's school career day. James Webb captures fiery hourglass star formation. The .44 caliber pistol Derringer used to kill Abraham Lincoln, original pick. Yuri Norizov, the linguist who deciphered the Maya script, 1953. He listed his cat Asher as a co-author on his work, but the editors always removed her. He always used this photo with Asher as his author photo, and got passed whenever editors cropped her out. On July 28, 1996, a man's body washed up on a trawler in the UK seas. There was no identification on the body, except a 25-year-old Rolex oyster on his wrist. As Rolex maintained such meticulous service records, they were able to ID the victim and ultimately the murderer. Billie Jean King turned 79 today. She won 39 Grand Slam titles, 12 singles, led the fight for equal pay in tennis, only woman in history to win US singles titles on grass, carpet, clay and hard court. Lastly, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009. Afghan women before Taliban. Volcano in Ethiopia burns bright blue. A Save Our Planet message found on a jazz record printed in 1989. Archilon is an extinct marine turtle from the late Cretaceous and is the largest turtle ever to have been documented at the Yale Peabody Museum of Natural History 1902. A golden zebra. Research indicates that when adult rats aid others, the reward center of their brains activates, just as in humans. Adults show empathy only toward distressed rats from familiar social groups. Adolescents typically help, no matter what. A foreground miniature by Spanish effects maestro Emilio Ruz del Rio for Conan the Destroyer, 1984. Giant screw used for installing ground mounts for solar panels. The last known photo of English singer and Joy Division frontman Ian Curtis before his seaside, 1980. This photo was taken for a passport that Ian would use for his band's first North American tour. He died the night before they were due to leave. the Grand Central Terminal in 1929. Sunlight could come in through the windows. It is blocked by other buildings today. Found when replacing the 112 years old roof on my house. Yes, 112 years old roof. There were 4 layers, and this was under the mall. I think it was done on purpose as a time capsule. There was a full copy of the Saturday Evening Post and Collier's. The articles, the ads, it's priceless. Children using the route bridge to cross a river to get to school. The inscription on the grave of a Vietnam veteran. A gay Vietnam veteran. When I was in the military they gave me a medal for killing 2 men and a discharge for loving one. A small, 1-inch long old Assyrian tablet, inscribed 3,300 years ago. The tablet was found underneath the Temple of Ishtar, in Iraq, and describes the construction of the temple and honors the Assyrian king at the time, Tukulti-Ninurta. Bansil Alpert Stepwell Restoration, Hyderabad, India. Before. After. 1885 photo documenting the discovery of an ancient Maya statue deep within the jungles of Honduras. Until recently the Asiatic lion ones ranged from Eastern Europe to South Asia. Sadly they are now only found in the G forest in India. This is a blue rose. It is one of the rarest flowers in existence, and it is made exclusively by genetically modifying white roses, inserting genes taken from pansies into roses, to make their pigment blue. This man survived the first wave of Pompeii's destruction in 79 AD, only to have a boulder fall on his head. This was the world's smallest cow entered in the Guinness World Records dead in 2021. Her name was Rani. In 2010, when Tokyo officials went to congratulate the oldest man in the city on his 111th birthday, they instead found his skeletal remains on his bed. He had been dead for 30 years and the family was taking in the pension money he was still receiving. The gay family from New York hold the Guinness World Record for the biggest Christmas light display on a residential property. Nearly 700,000 lights shine every holiday season, along with more than 200 songs that are synchronized to the lights. Albert Einstein at 5 years old, Munich, 1884. Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield team up to launch ear-shaped edibles. Tattooed fingernails. Pangaea, the supercontinent that existed before continental drift with all the countries outlined. These are known as ghost apples. They are created when freezing rain coats a rotting apple and the apples falls out. Healing a back problem with a bear, Romania, 1946. Anai the desert, Iran. A family sleeping in a rooftop tent came within inches of being crushed to death by a fallen tree during a camping trip. Dio the detection dog can find whale peep floating in the ocean. He rides in the bow, while his handler watches his movements to decide where to guide the boat. A team effort for the sake of orca conservation. This starburst cut sapphire. A real beauty, a Townsend Warbler. Old turned into bridge. What is a waste to you might be useful to another. 1969 and 2022. Apollo 11 and Artemis 1 launches. Parsis living in India still leave the corpses of deceased to be devoured by birds of prey on towers of silence, circular hills built of brick/stone, because in their Zoroastrian faith, burying/cremating the dead is seen as polluting nature. This practice is considered as a last act of mercy. Japanse spider crab. Rain on different worlds: Earth, water, Venus, sulfuric acid, Titan, methane, Neptune, diamonds, HD 189733b, glass, OGLETR56B. Liquid iron. The tree we drew as kids. Microscopic image of sand grains from a beach in Maui, Hawaii. Fishermen of the Volga River, Russia, with their impressive catch, 1924. Bob Ross was once a fearsome drill sergeant during his 20-year stint in the US Air Force, where he acquired the nickname Bust Him Up Bobby. My 2005 LG VX5400 flip phone, found in a box while de-hoarding, somehow still has a tiny bit of battery left. Benjamin Bowden showing off his space-cylinder bicycle on September 17, 1946. Body art was popular during the Victorian era in the upper echelon and among royals. Ray Colorado tornado on May 7, 2016. This is actually a pen holder. Ellen O'Neill, one of the first professional female skaters, 1976. Earliest known photo of Jason David Frank in costume as the Green Ranger. Doing the laundry in Scotland, Killin. Launderette Revolution. Miners in the Serra Pelada gold mines in Brazil, 1980s. Inside a Steinway grand piano. My Airbnb has a full box of straws from 1985 in perfect condition, ready to use in a drawer. Footage of the surface of Venus from the Soviet Venera probe. In 1983 the Soviet probe landed on Venus, making it the first to ever do so. It lasted about 22 minutes before the heat of the planet melted it.